Hello, children. In this episode, we are going to discuss about climate. In earlier two episodes, we have discussed about the physical landscape of Sri Lanka. Under that, in the third episode, we are going to discuss about climate. When you come to the climate, before discussing the subject matters, we will have to understand what is climate and what is weather. They are two common concepts or phenomenon we discuss in geography frequently, mainly in the climatology. What is climate and what is weather? Now you know weather is atmospheric condition that is frequently subjected to the changes. That means weather is always changing. Usually these changes are estimated or calculated within 24 hours. Climate is not like that. Here we will have to consider about climate as the generalization of weather condition that observed over longer period. The period may be 20, 30 years like that. Therefore, we will have to focus our attention to what kind of climate can be found in Sri Lanka and what are the climatic features or varieties can be found in Sri Lanka. Those are the things we are going to discuss in this episode. The first point says climate is the general condition of the atmosphere at particular place or region. Now you know that climate is the generalization of weather conditions that observed over longer period like 20, 30 years. So climate is determined by the analyzing of the weather. It is given in the point, it is determined, means climate. By the analyzing of the weather conditions collected over longer period like 20, 30 years. Unless the correct picture of the climate cannot be taken merely analyzing the weather condition collected over short period like 5 years, 6 years. Therefore, to get the correct, precise, accurate picture about the climate, analyzing of data, weather data collected over longer period like 20 to 30 years is needed. On the other hand, climate is permanent. It is not changing like weather and it does not change like weather conditions. Now you know it clearly because in earlier lessons also we have discussed them. Then we focus our attention to the climate can be found in Sri Lanka. Now you know the location of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is located in the tropical zone. Now you know tropical zone means the area between two tropics, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. On the other hand, Sri Lanka is located close to the equator. Apart from that one, Sri Lanka is located within monsoon region. That means Sri Lanka experiences monsoon winds. All the ideas collecting together, this point has been said. You read it. Since Sri Lanka is located in the tropical zone, close to the equator and within monsoon region, Sri Lanka experiences well-distributed rainfall and high temperature throughout the year. That's the main climatic features of the tropical climate or tropical climate type or tropical monsoon or tropical rainforest climate types. Sri Lanka does not experience the winter. You know that. Almost all the countries or lands located in the tropical zone does not experience winter except the highest mountain tops. So it is Sri Lanka is also with same. Sri Lanka does not experience the winter. We don't have the winter, but during the month of December, January, February, we feel that temperature drops a bit, but it is also not a very big drop. Therefore, we can write Sri Lanka does not experience the winter. Therefore, temperature does not fall within large difference in temperature, because you know that in countries where winter can be seen, the temperature drops sometimes 20-30 degrees of Celsius, or in some countries during the winter temperature drops very low, even below the zero, and minus values are recorded. But in Sri Lanka actually the drop of temperature is limited to several degrees only. Therefore, the central idea here, we have the higher temperature level, and temperature, drop of the temperature or rising of the temperature is also within certain limits. The limits are not very wide. Higher or lower temperature limits are determined, or they are set within several degrees of Celsius. Then we come to discuss about temperature. You know, temperature means the amount of temperature means the amount of the hotness in the atmosphere. Atmospheric temperature is measured in geography using the thermometer. You know that when you were in grade 6, you studied about temperature and measuring of temperature and all the features connected to the temperature. Because you know that the equatorial part experiences the perpendicular sun rays, and the perpendicular sun rays bring higher temperature over the surface of the earth. Therefore, average annual temperature in Sri Lanka also is around 27 degrees of Celsius. But this 27 degrees of Celsius is not equal everywhere. Within the island, there is a small regional variation. That means when you go to some areas like Nuwara area, Badulla Bandara, the low temperature is recorded. But when you go to coastal area and northern part of Sri Lanka, higher temperature is recorded. Therefore, we will have to consider about what are the factors that influence for this variation of temperature within the country or within the island. These factors can be identified as follows. 1. Proximity to the Indian subcontinent. Indian subcontinent is very large landmass. Therefore, changes in temperature occurring there directly influences Sri Lanka also. Because Sri Lanka is located close to Indian subcontinent, you know, the separation or the distance between Sri Lanka and India or Indian landmass is not more than 32 kilometers. Therefore, influence of the Indian subcontinent on our temperature can be found. Proximity means nearness. Therefore, proximity or location of Sri Lanka, another term you can write, location of Sri Lanka close to India, subcontinent of India, is one reason, one factor that influences for the variation of temperature in Sri Lanka, especially northern part of Sri Lanka. Second one, altitude, the or elevation. You know that when we study the relief map of Sri Lanka, the land rises from the sea level because the central hills can be seen located toward the center of the island. Therefore, when we take a cross section of the island, you find that from the sea level, little by little, the land rises up to the central hills. Therefore, the altitude is also a very important factor that influences the variation of temperature, especially it is connected with lapse rate. The concept of phenomenal lapse rate we discuss later. Then distance from the sea. You know that Sri Lanka is a small island. Therefore, any part of any land area within the island is always under the direct influence of the sea. Or another way we can say that no land area is away from the influence of the sea. Other one is a changing wind pattern. You know that mainly Sri Lanka experiences two monsoons blowing into the island from opposite directions. One is from northeast, other one is southwest. In different time periods, they become active. During that period, the temperature patterns of Sri Lanka will change. Then there are the factors that influence to have regional variation of temperature within the island. Again, you read them: proximity to the Indian subcontinent, that means location of Sri Lanka close to Indian land mass; altitude or elevation, rising of the land from the sea level toward the center; distance from the sea; changing wind pattern. They are the factors that influence to have a variation of temperature within the island. So when you observe this map, you find that the distribution of temperature within the island, the mid part, when you refer to the key, you find that the mid part of the island, that means there the central hills is located, have the lowest temperature. Then when you go to another part of Sri Lanka, you have the highest temperature. In between, temperature differs in different ways. Therefore, again, you observe the map with reference to the key, then understand the distribution of temperature within the island. The distribution of temperature is shown using these lines, isotherm. These lines are known as when the distribution of temperature is shown by the lines. The lines drawn on the maps are known as isotherm. Therefore, again and again you study that one. Then you can have a very good understanding about how the temperature is distributed within this small island. This key is very important. Refer to the key and you find the distribution of temperature. Then read the next point. According to the map, northern part of Sri Lanka experiences high temperature. The main reason now you can understand, it is mainly due to the influence of Indian subcontinent. The main reason for this high temperature is the location of Sri Lanka within the close proximity to Indian subcontinent. Now actually you know it, you understood it. Therefore you keep in mind, when the temperature of the Indian subcontinent is rising, parallel to it, the temperature of the northern part of Sri Lanka is rising. When the temperature of the Indian subcontinent is lowering or going down, parallelly, the temperature of the northern part of Sri Lanka also going down. Therefore, location of Sri Lanka within a close proximity to Indian subcontinent directly influences to have the variation of temperature within the island. It is given in the next point. When temperature increases in Indian subcontinent, temperature in other region of Sri Lanka also increases. The temperature in the central hills is lower than the other regions. Now you know it. When you go to Nuwara area, Badulla, Bandaravilla, and when you go to Kandy, like that, temperature is somewhat lower than the other regions like Colombo, Kurunegala, in that area. The drop of temperature you feel when you travel from Colombo or Kurunegala or somewhere else in the intermediate zone or coastal plain up to the central hills. When you enter the central hills, you find that temperature drops little by little. So you know that always when you observe the weather forecast, lowest temperature is always recorded in your area, and highest temperature is somewhere else. Sometimes it may be in the northern parts, some it may be in Colombo, sometimes it may be in Kurunegala, like that. It is changed. But the lowest temperature is always recorded in your area. The reason behind this low temperature is the influence of the lapse rate. The lapse rate is a natural phenomenon that occurs in the atmosphere. Here, the temperature drops by 0.64 per 100 meters elevation or rise in the atmosphere. This drop of temperature parallel to the elevation is known as lapse rate in the geography. Therefore, it is given in the point. Lapse rate is the drop of temperature with the increase of the elevation of the land. Therefore, again and again you read that part. This idea behind the lapse rate you keep in mind. In Sinhala, lapse rate is known as Patana Sikratavya. That Sinhala term is also keep with you. It also will be needed in bilingual lessons. Anyway, the temperature drops 0.64 per 100 meters elevation. That's the amount of decrease drops per 100 meters elevation. The wind blowing from the oceans around the island reduces the high temperature. You know that Sri Lanka is an island. Being island, all the parts of the islands under the direct influence of the sea. During the daytime, you know that sea winds blowing into the land. Sea winds blow into the land with moisture or water vapor, and due to this water vapor, the temperature on the land is moderated, not actually reduced up to very low point, but temperature is moderated. Therefore, very high temperature. Sometimes that can be seen like Indian subcontinent, cannot be seen in Sri Lanka. It is due to the influence of the sea, as well as sea winds blowing into the island during the daytime. Therefore, that sea winds blowing into the island from the sea during the daytime moderates the high temperature we collect during the daytime. That is also a very important factor relevant to the regional distribution of temperature. After discussing the temperature, next we go to another very important factor, rainfall. Rainfall is also a very important factor in climate. Temperature, after temperature, rainfall comes. Due to the location of Sri Lanka in tropical zone, now you know it, close to the equator, other thing as a small island in Indian Ocean, close to Indian subcontinent. Sri Lanka experiences rains in three ways. Other thing we discussed earlier, Sri Lanka is located in monsoon region. That means monsoon winds dominates this region, especially including Sri Lanka and parts of India, also within that region. Due to that one, Sri Lanka experiences rainfall in different ways. Mainly, three ways can be identified. They are convectional rains. You know in Sinhala Sangwahanavasi. Second type, monsoon rains, Mosambasi. Third one, cyclonic rains, Vasuli Vesi. Convectional rains, monsoon rains, cyclonic rains or depressions, another term, can be used. Give rainfall to the Sri Lanka in different ways. Convectional rains can occur any period of the year, but when we study the rainfall pattern of Sri Lanka, convectional process cannot be seen occurring throughout the year because over Sri Lanka, two monsoon winds are dominant, bringing rainfall. When monsoon winds become active, automatically convectional process will go down or become inactive, and again the convectional process becomes active when the monsoon winds abated or become weaker. Cyclonic rains are different because usually cyclones, depressions that occur or originate in the Bay of Bengal influence Sri Lanka during the month of November, December. Therefore, usually Sri Lanka experiences cyclonic or depressional rains during the month of November, December, like that. But towards the end of the December, when the northeast monsoon becomes active, cyclone rains gradually reduces. Then we focus our attention to convectional rains. Then when you read this point, now you have certain idea in your mind. You can understand what is convectional rains means. First thing you will have to think about the location of Sri Lanka, because location of Sri Lanka or location of any country is very important to have the convectional rains. To have the convectional rains, the high temperature is needed, and to have the high temperature or direct sunlight or perpendicular sun rays, these countries must be located within tropical region. Now, since Sri Lanka is situated close to the equator, convectional process occurs throughout the year. But convectional process is subdued or reduced. Another term is become weaker when monsoon becomes active during two seasons or two periods of the year. Therefore, during that period, convectional process becomes weaker, giving path to the monsoons. Again, monsoons becomes weaker. Again, convectional process become active. So usually when convectional become active in between two monsoons, we call them intermonsoonal process. During the monsoons, that means you know that southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon, in between, the rainfalls occur due to the convectional process. Thus, convectional process become active during intermonsoonal periods. That means in between two monsoons where monsoons are not active. Then we come to identify the first intermonsoon period occur during March to April. That means northeast monsoon is abated or become weaker towards the end of the February. Then March, April, May, mid of the May is the time other monsoon begins. In between we have a period like 2 months, no major monsoons working. Therefore, during that period, as we discussed earlier, the convectional process becomes active. Other thing, during that period, Sri Lanka experiences the direct sunlight. You know that when it is March, sun shines over the equator. Therefore, as Sri Lanka is located close to the equator, Sri Lanka also experiences perpendicular sun rays. During the month of April, Sri Lanka experiences the direct sun or zenith sun shining over the island. Second intermonsoon period occurs during the month of October, November. November, I mentioned earlier, it is the month when the cyclones also become active. Then during that period, the second intermonsoon period occurs, that means towards the end of the southwest monsoon, before starting the northeast monsoon. The period is there. During that period, again, convectional process becomes active. During that period, rainfall occurs due to the convectional process. The convectional rains occur throughout the island during the convectional process becomes active. Therefore, you can find that during the monsoons are active, only the certain part of the island is covered by them. For example, the wet zone of Sri Lanka is covered by the southwest monsoon, giving the heavy rainfall or highest rainfall. The dry zone of Sri Lanka is covered by the northeast monsoon. But when we comes to the convectional rains, they occur throughout the island. The rainfall may change, but during that period, all the parts of the island experience rainfall. And usually these rains occur in the evening part of the day. You might have experience with lightning and thundering, usually after rain, sometimes due to the heaviness of the rain, because these rains may be downfall. The flash flood also may occur. And usually these rains occur towards the evening part of the day. That means afternoon. Morning session, you find that sky is clear around 10:30, 11. The clouds can be seen gathering there. When it is 1:30, 2, 3, sky is overcast. Overcast means full of rain clouds. And around that period, the rainfall occurs or start raining. That is how the convectional process occurs again. The sky become clear at night. After 8:39, you find that again the sky is so clear. Moon, stars can be seen in the sky nicely. That's the condition. So that is how this diagram shows how these convectional rains occur, because during the daytime plants become heated. Therefore, convectional process occur. That means heated air going up with the water vapor. Then, due to the lapse rate in the atmosphere, the water vapor subjected to the cooling and clouds are formed, and after that one, rainfall occurs. So you find that it occurs first in the middle part of the island. That means central hills experiences the first rains and later they are distributed towards the coast. Therefore, locally, these rains are known as Godavasa. Godavasa means usually monsoons, the first rainfalls occur in the coastal area, and from coastal area, the rainfall develops. But here, the first rainfalls occur in the mid of the island, that means in the central hills, and later they are distributed towards the coast. Therefore, people call it Godavasa. That is how the convectional process occurs. The sun's energy, air expands and rises with the water vapor. And here in the sky, the clouds, special rain clouds, cumulonimbus clouds mainly form. Out of that one, heavy rains occur. Usually with rains, thundering, lightning also occur. Therefore, during that period, people are advised to be safe from the lightning because lightning is frequent during the convectional process. Therefore, you also will have to be vigilant and careful during that period to get away from lightning and to follow the safety methods to protect yourselves and your property from lightning. The convectional rains vary from light showers or drizzle. Drizzle means very light showers. To the downpour means heavy rains. Or sometimes due to the downfall. At the end of the rainfall, flash floods also occur. Flash floods mean the floods that occur quickly. Within a short period of time, it occurs due to the heaviness of the rainfall. Rains occur during the short period and again, night sky becomes so clear. I discussed it earlier, therefore no need of talking them again and again. Then other names which are used to refer convectional rains also given Asinivasa, Godavasa. As it occurs heavily during the month of April showers, thunder showers, evening showers, Savasvasa, Godavasa, like that. A lot of terms are used to refer the convectional rains because they are so important for the farmers, because as these rains occur before the monsoon, the farmers begin their chena cultivation and paddy cultivation with the fall of these convectional rains. Therefore, as they are the first rainfall, they are very important to the farmers to start their cultivations. Therefore, these rains are referred by different names. Then we come to monsoon rains. Now I think you have the clear-cut idea about monsoon rains. Monsoon is a periodical winds. That's the meaning of monsoon. Actually, monsoon is the original term. It's an Arabic term. Monsoon refers the winds blowing within a particular period. This periodical wind that brings the rainfall is called monsoon. When it is come to the English, the monsoon became monsoon, and it refers to the periodical winds that bring rainfall or rains. As far as you know, Sri Lanka experiences two monsoons during two different periods. The southwest monsoon, it starts occurring in May and it spreads up to September. as it blows into the island from the direction of southwest. It is known as southwest monsoon. When you go to map, you can see them. Other one is northeast monsoon because it is active from the mid of December to February. Comparatively, southwest monsoon brings the heavy rains and northeast monsoon brings somewhat lighter rains. The rainfall is low. Then southwest monsoon, the periodical wind that blows into the island from the direction of the southwest is called the southwest monsoon. Now you can keep in mind, it is so easy. The name is given with reference to the direction it blows into the island. Since it blows a long distance over the Indian Ocean, it collects a lot of water vapor. That is very important idea. Before it enters the island, these winds collect a lot of water vapor as the wind blows longer distance over the sea area or Indian Ocean. When it reaches the central hills, start rising up and form rain clouds and gives the rainfall to the especially western, southern, southwestern parts of the island as well as western slope of the central hills. The heavy rains occur over that one. That is why that area we call the wet zone, because comparatively that area experiences the highest rainfall from these agents of monsoons. The western slopes of the central hills experiences heavy rains during this monsoon. This rain spreads over the wet zone located at the south, west and southwestern part of the island. When you look at the map, you can identify the location of wet zone, dry zone, intermediate zone, semi-arid zones, like that. Climatic divisions of the island based on rainfall. While the western slopes become the windward, windward means the side, because there are two sides, one is a windward, other one is a leeward. Windward side means the side of the mountain slope that faces the wind. You can keep in mind the slope of a hill that faces the wind is called the windward. Therefore, the western slope of the central hills becomes the windward to the southwest monsoon. Usually, that area, that region experiences heavy rain. It is same with the southwest monsoon in Sri Lanka. As southwest monsoon enters to the island from that direction, the western slope of the central hills acts as the windward that experiences heavy rains. Then other side, eastern side, opposite side, where the Valley Mud plateau is located, it becomes a leeward. Leeward means the shadow. That area gets the least rainfall or sometimes no rainfall, only the dry, cool wind. So during the southwest monsoon, the Valley Mud area and eastern part of the island experience the hard blow wind, but no rainfall. Therefore, these winds are known as Kachan in the areas of Batiklo, Ampar, because it is a mere dry wind. No any rainfall, but it brings a large amount of water vapor. That water vapor turns into clouds over the western slope of the central hills and gives the heavy rains to the wet zone. After that one, when that wind blows over the island, it becomes a cool, dry. That is why the Valley Mud plateau has become cool, dry land area. Though it is a cool, dry area, it's a and activities are mainly based on the vegetable cultivation. Commercial vegetable cultivation is conducted there. The spread of the commercial vegetable cultivation is mainly based on this natural phenomenon. That means blow of cool, dry wind with less rainfall. So when you observe that one, you can see the distribution of rainfall to southwest monsoon. You find that highest rainfall is occurring in the western slope of the central hills. Here the Pidurutala goes like that. To find is the area Malimbod, Ratnapura, that area is located. That's the area I get the highest rainfall, and it becomes lesser and lesser and lesser. When you go to these areas, the least rainfall occurs. These two areas. Then refer to the key. With reference to the key, again and again you observe this one, and this map shows the distribution of rainfall during the southwest monsoon. This arrow shows the blow of monsoon into the island, mainly south, west, southern and western from all directions. Winds blow into the island. Therefore, highest rainfall is recorded. The western slope of the central hills, this area you keep in mind. Next one is again western slope, again western slope. Here the wet zone. When you go through this line actually can be taken as the border of the wet zone. This region can be introduced as a wet zone of Sri Lanka. Other regions are dry zone. In that area, we have the semi-arid zones. One is in Hambantota, the other one is Putlam. Northeast monsoon. Northeast monsoon blows into the island from the opposite direction of the southwest. Because the period it is active, you know that. The periodical wind. Periodical means active during a period only. That blows from the direction of the northeast into the island. During the months of December to February is called northeast monsoon. Idea is very clear to you. Even the direction you can mark, because we have certain idea now about this. Comparatively, it brings less rainfall. The reason you know that, not like the southwest monsoon. It has no long distance to cover over the sea. Therefore, the amount of the water vapor it brings is less. And on the other hand, it will have to cover a large land area. Therefore, when the rainfall is distributed, it becomes somewhat low. That is why this point says comparatively it brings less rainfall as it collects less water vapor blowing shorter distance over the Bay of Bengal. When you look at the map of Sri Lanka, India, Bay of Bengal, you can understand the idea given in this point. It gives less rainfall, distributed less rainfall, because dry zone is so large. Therefore, the rainfall is well distributed. During that period, highest rainfall occurs in Matale mountain area, Knuckles. That area can be seen or identified as the area where the highest rainfall occurs during the northeast monsoon is active, because the water vapor collected by the northeast monsoon rises over that area. That means the Matale mountains acts like a windward for the northeast monsoon. Therefore, that area get the highest rainfall, and later these clouds are distributed throughout the dry zone and use somewhat lesser rainfall than or lower than the southwest monsoon. The most parts of the island experiences rainfall of 100 to 200 millimeters, and highest rainfall is the rainfall of 1000 to 2000 millimeters, and highest rainfall is 3000 millimeters can be seen during that period. This map shows the condition of the northeast monsoon, how the northeast monsoon blows into the island. This is the area, the blue color area, you find that area with the highest rainfall, small area is there. Then it is distributed in that manner, not like the earlier monsoon. The distribution is also limited. The large area should be covered by the rainfall. Therefore, comparatively, rainfall is less. And again, you look at this map, and it is given in your textbook also. After studying that one, you follow the textbook, and there also you will see the map, and when you read the textbook, you can understand the subject matters easily when you listen to or when you see this video program. Then cyclones. You know that cyclones are a wind system that can be found in the atmosphere. Usually, cyclones that influence the island Sri Lanka mainly originated in the Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal is a place where the cyclones are born. And throughout the year, cyclones are born there, but cyclones which are created during the month of November, December, influence Sri Lanka. It is due to the winds pattern. Cyclones that generate in the Bay of Bengal affect Sri Lanka mainly during the months of November and December. Cyclones may form at any time of the year, as I mentioned earlier. But cyclones which are born during the months of November and December affect the island. Entering from the eastern coast, next I will show you the path of a cyclone, and then you will understand. Entering from the eastern coast and blowing away in the northwest part of the island. That's the path of the cyclones. You can see that the cyclones in 1978, cyclone in 2000, how they entered into the island and how they got away from the island is shown by the arrows. Therefore, usually they are born in the Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal is in that area, east of Sri Lanka, you know that. Therefore, cyclones born there enter into the island in that manner and got away from the island in that manner. Usually, the rains occur with the cyclones actually cannot be predicted. It may be from a drizzle or the light showers to the downfall. The damage is so high because severe strong winds, floods, landslides also followed by. Therefore, cyclones are always dangerous and destructive. Usually, the eastern coastal area, north central part of the island, eastern part of the central hills are highly affected or frequently affected to these cyclones. When cyclones occur with the monsoon rainfall becomes so heavy and destructive because extra energy is added with the monsoon. That is why in December cyclones are so destructive than the cyclone during other period. Usually cyclones affect the bigger part of the island and whole island will experience a rainfall. Sometimes the clouds will cover whole of the island. So you can see that it's a satellite picture of the cyclone. Here the Sri Lanka is here. You find that here the cyclone. So when these clouds come over the Sri Lanka, you will see that it will be covered because it is entering or sometimes it is getting away from Sri Lanka. Anyway, the cyclones destructive and gives heavy rains to the almost all the parts of the island. Therefore, that is also very powerful agent of giving rainfall to Sri Lanka. This picture shows the damages, falling of trees on property, vehicles, and those things can be seen. From this, I conclude this episode 3. And next, I hope to discuss about climatic zones of Sri Lanka in the next episode. I think now little by little, you become aware of the physical lands of the island. First, we discuss about the landscape. Now we came to discuss about climate. In the next episode, we are going to discuss about climatic zones of Sri Lanka. And with that one, we will be able to complete the unit. Until that one, you'll have to keep in mind, keep touch with our channel, self-learning tool, get the knowledge, develop your knowledge on geography. And especially as bilingual students, your knowledge in Sinhala as well as English must be very well. English medium knowledge is very important. Therefore, always keep your touch with the self-learning tool. When you come to the self-learning tool, please subscribe it and give this idea to your friends also to develop their knowledge. So, wishing you a good day and bright future. We conclude the episode 3 with the idea of meeting or connecting again in the episode 4. Right? Thank you being with us.